Hello, this is a short video on looking essentially at how we can use the advanced search on LinkedIn, trying to build up a search string and making sure that we are targeting our prospects as narrowly as possible without losing people that we may be interested in talking to. All search on LinkedIn starts in the top left hand corner. We have a search box up here. Clicking on this allows us to search for the type of people or jobs or posts that we're interested in. In this particular case, we're going to be doing an advanced search on people. So clicking on that takes us through to a first set of results. And we'll see now that there's a secondary menu here. If we wanted to revert back to some of the other areas that we might be interested in on the site, such as jobs or the companies or groups, then we can still do so, but we're going to focus here on the people. Now there's three sort of filters which are readily available. These are the ones that LinkedIn thinks are the most commonly used. Personally, I don't always consider that to be right. So my preference and my advice is to head straight over to the All Filters button on the right hand side. And clicking on that allows us to look through the different aspects that we can use and the different filters that we can apply to search through the people on LinkedIn. Just for reference, you search through the whole of LinkedIn's database. You are not searching through a subset of your network, for example. You are looking through the whole of LinkedIn. Okay, so what we now want to do is identify the right people that we want to talk to. The example we're going to apply here is we're going to look for people with certain job titles. In other words, we are looking for people who are in a certain role or position within a company. I'm going to take the example of, what can we do? Well, let's take purchasing manager as a particular role. So here, within the field in one of those top elements here is title. This actually means current job title. So if we type in here, purchasing manager, what we are now searching for is within LinkedIn, anyone who has both the word purchasing and the word manager in their current job title. Applying that comes out with just over 141,000 people globally who have that particular element or those particular elements within their profile page. Back to all filters again, and there's a lot of toing and froing as we go through this. If we want to make that slightly more specific, then we have the ability to put inverted commas around it. This, just like on Google, will make a phrase search. In other words, it will look just for the phrase purchasing manager. So if someone had put, I don't know, purchasing support manager, then now they would not appear, whereas in the previous search that we ran, they would have done. This, therefore, is a narrower search, and the 141,000 now drops a little bit to 107,000. Okay, so we're slowly cutting out people. It's up to you, of course, if you want to keep those other ones in. Now, the element that I will always encourage people to do is at this point take a step back and ask themselves, well, purchasing manager, that's all well and good, but what else might the person within that department call themselves? Because actually, I don't mind what they call themselves. I just want to talk to them, or I want to have them within my pool of people that I'm going to be able to filter down. So, as an example, we can then put a Boolean search in, or it's one of the Boolean operators, has to be in capital letters. So the ones we're going to focus on are or, and not. So we can use each of those to either broaden or narrow the search that we're conducting. So what else might the person be called? Well, for me it might be head of purchasing. So let's put that in there. So now we either want purchasing manager or head of purchasing, don't mind which. 107, okay, so we've had another 5,000. So we've had 5,000 head of purchasing. They might also be called purchasing director. Again, just applying that out, just seeing how they go. So we've got another 8,000 there. There's no need to apply it every time. This is really just to show the build. Or they could be director of purchasing. That's another suggestion. Apply that, and 120 goes up to 129. So again, we've now got another 9,000 in there. So it's important, as you can see, because we've just gained another 20% here, to make sure that we're covering off all of the different elements about how people might express their job. The other element I would bring in here, of course, is that not everyone runs a purchasing department. Some people run a procurement department. So procurement manager, apply that, 129 goes up to 196. Yeah, so what we actually have is 67,000 people who work in procurement rather than in purchasing. Essentially, however, they are likely to be in the right department and the right sort of people we want to talk to. So what we're doing here is bit by bit building up the pool of people that we are interested in both talking to and hopefully contacting them. And it's a case of using your experience to identify who's going to be the right ones. With this in mind, we can build quite a string. There is a sort of shorter way, but again it's slightly broader, which means we're going to get people in there who might be people we're not actually interested in. But should you wish to, you could do a slightly different format. So if we put purchasing or procurement in, and we put that in brackets, that now means that LinkedIn is going to want to find one of those two job titles in the current job title of the people we're looking for. However, we would also like to have, and now we'd either like to see manager or head or director. Or, let's face it, if we're working with American companies, VP or SVP. So now we have a mixture of those two elements, purchasing or procurement, and manager, head, director, VP. So we can have those in any sort of mixture, and they're going to be ones that we're going to be interested in. This should raise the bar somewhat. Yep, we've gone from 196 up to 308. So we're trying now to make sure that our first pool of people are the ones that we wish to look at and apply. On the back of that, we have a number of other filters. Location seems an obvious one if you're working regionally or you're looking to identify people within a certain, the area that you're going to be next week. Likewise, you can build in industries. Personally, I leave that as a sort of last resort. We can also build in connection level. So if you're looking for people that you can be introduced to, then it would seem logical to put a second in, so connections of connections, and identifying now a certain number that you might be able to play with. And if we just build in the United Kingdom as a set of search results there, okay, so we now have a much lower number who may be ones that we want to be talking to. If you want to, you could add in any firsts, that would change it. Yes, so in fact I do know about, 6 people, so maybe those would be the first ones that I would talk to. If you wish to go lower than a national location, then you can go down to postal towns. That is to say, if you are looking, as we see down here, a Reading postcode, so an RG postcode, then any town which has an RG postcode, Reading all the way down to Basingstoke, then RG will cover each of those different elements, and hence putting in Reading, choosing the right one, and then taking out the UK, so we're just looking at Reading-based businesses. So we now have 56 people based in Reading who are directors or heads of purchasing or procurement and who are first or second level connections to myself. That is how we would build the search up, and hopefully one that would be useful to you. The second element that we might want to build in is the fact that we want to be kept updated as to whether there are going to be new people coming on board who fit our particular prospecting criteria. And this we can do by having a saved search and using the search alert function. The search alert function is triggered by having something in this top box. So that we don't lose anything, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this string that we put together and I'm going to copy that. I'm now going to put that into the box up here. This should not affect the results, 56 still, simply because using these terms within the job title is a narrower search than doing it up here, which is looking through the whole of the profile. However, having something up here triggers on the right-hand side of the page our saved search area. We can then create a search alert, decide how frequently, or more to the point, if we wish to receive the alert, and if we then save that, then on a weekly basis, LinkedIn will rerun the search that we've just created. And if next time they find that there are 60 people rather than the 56 we currently have who fit this criteria, then they will send us an email with links to the 4 additional people. So on a weekly basis, we are essentially getting new prospects, new people that we could contact. I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a real start point for you to be able to go out and search for the people you're looking for, and happy hunting.